The most important part of hitting big sixes is your bat swing. That's why in this video, I'm going to take you through the three main parts of the bat swing, which are your backlift, the swing itself, and the follow through. And then I'm going to tell you what you need to do at each stage to get maximum power and distance on your shot. So without any further ado, let's get started. So the first part of your bat swing is your backlift. This is where your swing starts, and there's a few things you want to do here. The first is, after you get into your stance, you want to make sure you get into your backlift before the bowler actually bowls the ball. And this is because when the bowler is very fast, or just in general, you want to give yourself as much time as possible, and going up and down after the ball is bowled takes a lot longer than already being up and just swinging through the ball in one smooth motion. Now the second thing is, as you go back, for maximum power, you want your bat to go as high up behind you as possible. And there's a couple mistakes people make here. The first is, you don't want it to go far behind you, you want it to go up. And the way you do this is by cocking your wrists and keeping this arm in. But a common mistake that happens when people do this is they go so far that the bat actually starts leaning backwards. You do not want to go beyond vertical because this really slows your bat swing down. And against faster bowlers, this will cause you to miss the ball. And keep in mind, no matter how good your swing is, if you don't hit the ball, you won't be hitting it for six. So, to recap, you want to do it before the bowler bowls, and you want to keep it as high as possible. So after you've perfected the back lift, now we're going to move on to the swing itself. And there are three technical things I want you to do, and a fourth secret tip I have to help you maximize your power. But before we get into those, I just want you to know the most important part with your swing is that it is in a straight line as you do it, and smooth. And here's what I mean by that. It doesn't necessarily have to be straight in terms of your bat being straight, because you can also hit this shot sideways. But the swing itself should be in one line once it starts. And the easiest way to do that, the first tip, is to make sure that when you do your backlift the correct way, it is as far behind you as possible, maybe just a little bit out to the side. But if your backlift is going out towards second slip or any further, at this point, it's impossible for your bat swing to come down in a straight line. The second tip, and this is very important, as you go from your backlift to your swing, you want to make sure that your arms extend fully just before contact and are extended as you go through the ball. This is because of physics. Basically, the longer your bat or your levers are, the more power gets into the ball, because the further away the bat is, the faster it's traveling. And obviously, you want to hit the ball with the fastest part of your bat. Now, if your arms are actually in this shape, this figure 9 shape, as you hit the ball, you see I'm hitting it right here. But you notice if I extend my arms, I'm actually hitting it from here. And this means that's a lot more power that's coming through. Now, one common mistake is your left arm is already extended. As you swing, you don't want to extend your right arm too early, because then it takes too long, like this. Instead, you want to slowly push with this arm, and right before contact, you want it to be straight. So it should look something like this. I'll do it slow. So just before contact, it should be fully straight, and then you can just let your arms relax, and I'll talk about the follow through later. This third trick is the one a lot of coaches miss, and it's that you don't want your hands to cross over as you swing. And this is what that looks like. This is what you don't want to do. And there's two reasons for this. The first is, not crossing your hands over forces you to use your shoulders in the shot as well. Because you can see that if you keep your shoulders fully sideways, your hands have no choice but to cross over, to get fully across, right? But if you actually open your shoulders, you notice your hands don't cross over, and then your shoulders put a lot more power into the shot that you wouldn't otherwise have. And the second reason is that this keeps your swing smooth and consistent. When you cross your hands over, the speed of your swing changes twice. So look at this. Slow, fast, slow. And I can do it even slower, but you'll see that as you cross your hands over, your bat has to move faster. And this messes with your timing. Because although it doesn't look like this in your actual swing, your timing of your swing changes if you cross your hands over. So you want to make sure that through contact and just after, your hands don't cross over. And then after contact, you can, in your follow through, cross your hands over. And I'll talk about that later. Now this fourth trick, this is a very secret one that I don't hear many people talking about, which is how to actually use your hands and how tight they are to maximize the power in the swing. Now you might have heard some people talk about how your top hand should be the one that's controlling a drive and your bottom hand should be controlling a sideways shot. Well, when you're looking to hit sixes, the equation is slightly different. You want your left hand or your top hand to be tight at the start of the swing, because this sets the direction that it's going in. But then after that, you actually want to tighten your other hand as well. But you don't want to do it too early, because what happens if you tighten your bottom hand too early is your swing starts to lose fluidity. What you want to do is you want to start out with your left hand being as tight as possible, and then just before contact you want to tighten the other hand as well, because this will ensure there's maximum power. And then through the rest of the swing, you want to keep both hands as tight as possible. And when you combine this with not crossing your hands over and extending your arms fully, you'll notice this gives you the maximum power to the shot. This is how you perfect your swing, by keeping it smooth, straight, and incorporating these 4 tricks. After mastering your backlift and the swing itself, there's this third part that's equally important. Not in hitting the ball far, but in ensuring that you're doing the right thing in the previous 2 parts, and that is your follow through. So there's a couple of things you want to do here. The first thing here is you want to make sure that your follow through actually goes all the way up. Now you don't have to get it fully back here if you don't want. Sometimes just getting it far all the way up here is good, but it has to go at least this high. And here's why that's important. If you are able to stop your bat here, that means you did not put all the power possible in the first 2 phases. Or you put the power till here and then you started slowing down. Because you'll see, if I try and stop my bat right here with a full swing, this is about as far as my bat goes up after I've already tried to stop it. And this means that I'm not putting all my power through the contact with the ball. The follow through is important in doing that because it ensures your swing is having full power from here all the way through here, which is where you'll be contacting the ball. So the first part is you want to make sure that your follow through ends up just as high as your backlift, maybe even going further. And after you've contacted the ball, at this point you can allow your hands to maybe cross over so that you smoothly finish the swing. The last part of both the follow through and your swing that you want to make sure you do correctly is, along with going high, you want to make sure that your follow through goes in the same line that your swing has been going. This doesn't mean that it has to be straight like I said earlier, but it means that whatever line your swing did take, your follow through takes the same path. And this is very important because this ensures that if you start in the right place and end in the right place, you can't be doing anything wrong in the middle. And doing this ensures that all your power is going in one line, which is where you get the maximum force. You'll notice that if your first 2 parts are straight and then you're following through somewhere else, 9 times out of 10, your swing was going down the wrong path somewhere around here for the bat to end up there. Which is why you want to make sure that as you follow through high, you're also following through in the straight line, or as straight as possible. And this applies to both a straight swing and a sideways swing. So I've just told you a lot of technical changes you need to make. Here's how you can actually make those. So we're going to go through a drill progression starting without a ball. So you're going to start out by just doing a full free swing, not worrying about the technique, okay? Just do this both ways so you get a feeling for what it feels like to actually free your arms. You do this 5 to 6 times and you'll realize how free they have to be. Now, after that, you're going to get into your stance and then you're going to do your trigger movement and get into your back lift. Now, at this point, this is where you start making your technical changes. So this can be higher. Your wrists have to be cocked. So you do this and at first, just focus on your back lift. So you just go into your trigger movement again and then you can see how to get your back lift in the right spot. After that, don't immediately start working on extending your arms. Instead, we did a full swing a few seconds ago. Try and add that to your back lift. So you go to your back lift and from here do a full swing and try to let your arms fully follow through. And then the goal here is not just to have a back lift and a follow through. It's that your swing goes in a straight line. Remember, that's one of the most important things. So you do this 5 to 6 times till you get used to it. And after that, that's when you start adding the 3 other things, which is straightening your arms in the middle of the swing and then making sure your hands don't cross over. And then also the tightening of the hands. So remember, try to start your swing off with your left hand and then somewhere around here, start tightening your other hand as well. So you do these things slowly, you get used to it. And one of the most important things is the whole time you're doing this, make sure that your swing is in a straight line. And then you work on these 6 different things without a ball. Now we move on to actually hitting a ball. And this is a drill you can do by yourself. All you need is a wall, which is why we've come here. So we've worked on the mechanics of your swing, getting your back lift right and your swing good. So now all you're going to do is you're going to toss a ball up from here. This will help you get your swing fast enough to where you can actually hit a ball. So try and give yourself as much time as possible, but ultimately you're trying to get your swing mechanics correct while actually aiming at something. So you're going to go against the wall and really make sure that at least your back lift and your follow through are correct. Then after that, you can move on to actually working on the other things. And the good thing about this drill is you can do this as many times as you want and by yourself. After hitting a more stationary ball like this, then you move on to slow underhand feet so you can really get a feel for it against real bowling. The last part of this drill progression is hitting it against proper fast overarm bowling as fast as you can get. And the goal here is to just do a full clean swing and actually hit the ball. If you focus on all of the things I told you in this video, your backlift, your swing and your follow through will all be as efficient as possible and you'll get maximum distance on the ball, hitting it as far as possible. If you like these kind of videos, please give me a subscribe so I can make more like it.